Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the credit series. This first video is semi-titled, subtitled, It's Not Open for Debate. Ladies and gentlemen, this conversation is not open for discussion. This conversation is, as all conversations done on this channel, designed to help fill in blanks where individuals have left things out. Now, you all have seen, for the most part, the video talking about the 1040 ES. What is the 1040 ES? Give us a second because we have to discuss what is a 1040 ES. Let's move some things out of the way. Sorry. I apologize. This is for a pop-up blocker that I'm going to be deleting because I'm getting tired of this little pop-up that they decided to add on to their little program. The best place to go is the IRS. Pay attention. Purpose of this package. It's a package. It's not a form. Shh. Don't let nobody tell you different. Okay? This is for estimated taxes. Now, hold on because some of you guys are not getting it. Wake up. Internal Revenue Manual hyphen bills of exchange hyphen campus support. Campus stop listening. You're going to do exactly what I just did. You're going to do a Google search, the Internal Revenue Manual, campus support, bills of exchange. You're going to go to that page. You're going to hit Control F on a Windows computer or Command F on a Mac computer. You're going to do a word search once you get to the page for bill, B-I-L-L. The first thing that will come up is bill of exchange. You're going to click on bill of exchange. You're going to go here and you're going to read and get an understanding. Bill of exchange. If a bill of exchange or registered bill of exchange, do not worry about what a registered bill of exchange is. That's not the point, people. And many of you are jumping off on the deep end because you think you're discovering something. Focus on a bill of exchange. If a bill of exchange or a registered bill of exchange is received from a taxpayer, authorizing, you're the authority. The campus, what campus? The IRS campus, wherever the IRS location is you're sending it to settle their account, please settle my account through FedWire. Send all of that junk to us here at the Secretary of the Treasury's office. My name is Janet Yellen. I'm only going to be in office for 2 more months. But until then, send that junk to me. That's what it's saying. Okay? Let's go back here to the 1040 ES. Ladies and gentlemen, ES stands for estimated. How do you know what your estimated taxes are going to be? You don't. So, 2 young ladies, after listening to one of the videos, one of them sent theirs in. I'm going to give you different numbers this time because I don't want this to reflect on them. One of them did it for $1 billion. The other one did it for $40 million. I'm not going to tell you what they did. I'm going to tell you that they followed the instructions that was given on a video. These are not the instructions for this video. That's not what this video is for. We'll get to the point of what this video is for in just a moment. They waited 5 weeks. They didn't get any results. No letters came back from the Internal Revenue Service because there's nothing in here saying that they're going to send you a communication. People, they read the rules. It wasn't until they realized, wait a minute, we're not supposed to be receiving nothing back from them. Let me check my transcripts. They went and checked their transcripts, and lo and behold, the credits were there. That's just the credit part. That's the information that was being put on video for me for everyone who received credits, whether they received tax credits or federal credits. They received credits, and it was only designed for them to follow the process so that they could have the credits. You have an IRS tax lien? Follow the process. Don't do it for an outlandish amount because it will not work for you. Don't be dishonest because it will not work for you. What's a reasonable amount? That's not for me to tell you. I'm not supposed to determine that for you. You know what's reasonable. You know if somebody presented the same thing to you, whether or not you would accept it or not. Follow the rules, people. Read the instructions, people. Follow the rules. This video is not designed to show you how to fill out forms. I doubt very seriously if I will do any videos showing you how to fill out forms. This video is designed to show you what the possibilities are. Then we're going to get into the credits in just a second. But before we do that, it's absolutely necessary that we show you the following. I have to put you on pause 1 second by simply going to satcom911.com, SATCOMM 911.com /PDFs with PDFS in all capital letters. You will get to our search location for the PDFs. You will simply, sorry, I was typing in this document, and when I did it, it opened in Microsoft Word, and it took a minute because it had to go through the files. This is this program's first time opening up a document. A second, that should be, nope, won't let me do it. Do it later. All right, pulling it up for the first time and so forth, but we're going to get back to the PDF section. You're going to do a word search for the new deal. The new deal. You're going to pull up this document. This document, we have taken the time in advance to highlight all of the relevant sections for you that are important. Let's talk about the main section, 12 USC 411. That's what this section is. 12 USC 411. If you want to know where it came from, 12 USC 411, 12 USC 412, 12 USC 413, and 12 USC 414. This section right here. Highlighted in this little turquoise color. Title 4 of the Federal Reserve Act, Section 401, subsection 18, paragraph number 6, is this section. You, if you want to understand money, you need to understand this paragraph. I've been saying it for 12 years now, since 2012. We've been saying it and people haven't been paying attention. That's why you can't get anything accomplished, which is why you can't pay your bills. You all want to do A for V's and you want to do endorsing instruments, and half of you don't even know what endorsement mean or why you even endorsing the instrument. You are amazing. So I'll tell you what they couldn't tell you. Please stop. Okie dokie. All right, let's continue. Section 401, the sixth paragraph of Section 18 of the Federal Reserve Act is amended to read as following. Upon deposit with the Treasurer of the United States, hold on now, you don't get to deposit anything with the Treasurer. This is not for you. This is for the Federal Reserve or membered banks of the Federal Reserve. And until you understand that, you can't do nothing with this. Pay attention. Of any direct obligation of the United States. Direct obligations of the United States, what are they? Or of any notes. Ah, I like that word, any. You see, it keeps saying any Many, miny, any. Any means any. There is no definition for any in the statute. So it means any promissory note, conditional note, negotiable promissory note, Federal Reserve note, Federal Reserve Bank note, any note. You can deposit that junk if you're a Federal Reserve or a member of the Federal Reserve with the United States Treasury. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Let me see if I understand you correctly. Let's see. If a bill of exchange or registered bill of exchange is received from a taxpayer authorizing the campus to deposit through Fedwire, send all of that junk to us. Hold on now, we're not finished. Any notes, drafts, bills of exchange, bankers acceptance, trade acceptance, under the provisions of this act, any Federal Reserve Bank making such deposit in the manner prescribed by the Secretary of the Treasury, ladies and gentlemen, a manner has been prescribed by the Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of the United States Department of Treasury. A manner has been prescribed. Pay attention. Some of you guys don't know how to pay attention. We're trying to help you. Shall be entitled to receive from the comptroller of the currency, no longer circulating notes, they're now called Federal Reserve notes. Notes in blank, duly registered and countersigned. Say what? You're entitled. That's why there is no caveat to the Fedwire sending everything to the Department of the Treasury, Secretary of the Treasury Executive Office. Next. Oh, by the way, you see, this is the actual congressional record. The reason why we're showing you the congressional record, this shows you the intent of Congress. The intent of Congress is the important part because they are the ones who write the law. So it doesn't matter what the courts say. You use the statutes at large, you use the act of Congress, the congressional act, and you use the congressional record. The three, that's your sledgehammer. They cannot get around these three items. When such circulating notes, now Federal Reserve notes, are issued against the security of the obligations of the United States, the amount of such circulating notes shall be equal to the face value of the direct obligation of the United States so deposited as security. What is that saying? That's just saying dollar for dollar. That's all that's saying is that it is dollar for dollar. It ain't saying nothing else. It ain't saying nothing else. Now, the next one, when it's issued against the security of notes, drafts, bills of exchange, bankers' acceptances acquired under the provisions of Title 12 of the United States so-called code, the amount thereof shall be equal to not more than 90% of the estimated value of such notes, drafts, bills of exchange, and bankers' acceptances so deposited as security. And these notes, drafts, bills of exchange, bankers' acceptances, trade acceptances shall be obligations of the Federal Reserve Bank that receives it. Now, they have an interbank process. It's called a circulating process. That's why you have the Federal Reserve circulars. That is to tell you of how their circulating notes operate. Please pay attention. As prescribed by the Secretary of the Treasury, these notes shall be receivable at par, dollar for dollar, no longer 90 cents. Pay attention. Par means equal value. They're receivable at par in all parts of the United States when you deliver them to the Federal Reserve Bank. for the same purposes as national bank notes. What were national bank notes? Those notes were issued by the national banks and they were said to be dollar for dollar. Ta-da. And that being the case, was the case. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I wish I could take it back. I took it back, y'all. Now, let's do it again. Anyway, that's the beginning of the credit series, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can have a better understanding of what you should be doing as opposed to what you've been doing. Give me 1 second to take care of some things in my background. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that you know why they're called circulating notes, why they're called Federal Reserve circulars, why they're called credits, why you can send a bill of exchange to the Federal Reserve to the Treasury because it is at par with Federal Reserve notes for the same purposes as national bank notes. This is still in effect to this day. Why? It tells you right here, no such circulating notes shall be issued under this paragraph after the president has declared by proclamation that the emergency recognized by the president under the Presidential Proclamation 2039 by proclamation of March 6, 1933 has terminated. Okay, they have not terminated that. This is still the law to the present day. This was the intent of Congress. Why are they trying to do that? Nobody cares what you've been trying to do. I don't care, people. I don't care if you went to the court and you tried to articulate this because you did not articulate it in a fashion in which the court understood what you were saying because you didn't use the law. So go back over paragraph 6. Understand paragraph 6. Now you notice how I didn't read all of paragraph 6 because all of it is not necessary, but you will need to understand it. So put it into ChatGPT. Put the whole paragraph into ChatGPT, and after you put the whole paragraph into ChatGPT, let them know, has there been a termination of the act by the president, the proclamation of March 6, 1933? Then when it tells you no, then you say, oh, so it is still in effect, and it'll say yes. And now you continue the conversation from there. Now you don't have to deal with its stupidity. We're not even going to talk about section number 403. 403. Subject to some limitations, restrictions, and regulations. I know it says such. The Federal Reserve Board may prescribe, they don't have to, any Federal Reserve Bank may make advancements to an individual, partnership, or corporation on their promissory note. Y'all really do need to read this. It's been there the whole time. They haven't removed it, it hasn't disappeared. All right, so we're going to continue this series. There are going to be about 13 of them next month. So please stay tuned. Have a good day, everyone.